Hey there, I'm Professional Psychic Karen Marie, and this is Psyched-Up Sundays for May 14th, 2023. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Happy Mother's Day to my mother, Anna Marie Wanasak in Lubbock, Texas. And a big thanks to my 6 beautiful children who've made me grateful to be a mother. Okay, in this video, I will be talking about the transits for this upcoming week. I like to call that the astrological weather forecast for the week ahead. I do want to give a shout out to my upcoming psychic development retreats. I'm going to be offering with Liv Topfer. She's an amazing yoga instructor, breath coach, nutrition guide, just a spiritual guru in lots of ways. We're going to be teaming up to offer 3 different psychic development retreats out at her beautiful retreat property in Wimberley, Texas. These are going to be all day, 9 to 4 p.m. on Saturdays. The first one will be June 10th. Then we'll have one July 8th and then one August 5th. We're hoping that you want to take all 3 of them. They do stand on their own. If you cannot go to all 3 of them, you can register for all 3 of them and with a package deal. They're $444 each, which is a deal considering my personal private one-on-one psychic development sessions are $500 for 3 hours of time with me. So this will be 9 to 4 with 2 of us and a beautiful community of people. I believe everyone is psychic. So these workshops, retreats, are meant to help you dive in and get the tools to work on developing your own abilities. And you can utilize that in your ordinary daily life. So check out the link. I'll put that below for more information or to register for these upcoming retreats. You really won't want to miss them. Okay, let's dive in. Today we have the sun at 23 degrees of Taurus. It's going to be moving through the last decan of Taurus over the next several days. It will move into Gemini next Sunday, the 21st at 2:09 a.m. Now the times and dates that I give you are Austin, Texas time. That's where I am. Central time zone in the United States. We feel transits ahead of time before they hit. We can feel them afterwards. So just because I'm saying something's happening at a certain time on a certain day, we can feel the influences before and after. So just know that. So the important thing that's happening today on Sunday is that Mercury, which has been retrograde since April, is going direct this evening. That happens at 10:16 p.m. when it's exact. And it'll take until the first part of June for it to get out of its shadow zone. What does that mean? So Mercury went up to 15 degrees of Taurus before it turned to go retrograde. It's at 5 degrees of Taurus now, so it's traveled that part of the skies. So it'll take it till June 1st to go back to the 15-degree point. So as it's traveling back over the period it's already traversed twice, going forward and backwards, that is called the shadow period. So we can still experience Mercury retrograde-like effects. And what does Mercury retrograde bring? Review, reflecting, reconsidering how we think, how we communicate, right? So Mercury retrograde can affect our communications of all kinds, our texts, our emails, our snail mails, our conversations with others, our technological devices, our computers, our phones, our cars. Short-term travels can be delayed or messed up. Social media things can go on. Even news things can go wonky because all these things are ruled by Mercury. What's super interesting to me is that in September, we'll have Jupiter go over these exact same points as it goes retrograde. Jupiter will be at 15 degrees of Taurus. When it stations to go retrograde, it'll go back to 5 degrees of Taurus, and then it'll begin to move forward. And that's from September 4th through December 30th. That's when Jupiter is retrograde. Now, Jupiter brings gifts and brings insights, and it brings kisses. It's a good luck planet, along with Venus. Those are the 2 benefics, as they call them. So whatever you might have learned during this Mercury retrograde, did you learn something about how you talk to yourself? Did you learn something about communications with others? Did you learn something in terms of what to do or not do, right? In your talking, in your texting, in your social media stuff, in the news. So all these things that you may have learned, and we get a chance to reflect back over those as Mercury moves back over these degree points moving forward. Those are going to be highlighted and exaggerated when Jupiter goes retrograde over these same points later on this year. So I think that's going to be super duper interesting. Now, I approach the transits with a huge exquisiteness. I investigative spirit, right? Like I've got my white lab coat on and my clipboard, and I just take notes. Interesting. Oh, wow, that's super. Things, for example, like when January 6th, 2021 happened, Mars, the god of war and the ruler of Aries, was at the very last degree point called the anaretic degree of Aries, 29 degrees. The new moon solar eclipse that we had recently was at this exact same point, and Jupiter will cross over this exact same point this week before it moves into Taurus. So I'm curious to see what that might bring. Jupiter usually brings gifts and makes things bigger, but it can make negative things bigger too. So I'll talk more about Jupiter when it gets to the point in this week where it's going into Taurus. So I'm going to go on the day by day right now. Okay. So right now we have the moon in Pisces. This evening it's gone through Pisces. It takes the moon 2.5 days to transit a sign. I always invite you, if you want to begin to learn about transits and how they affect you, to pay attention to where the moon is and what you notice in your life. You notice how you feel. Notice your energy level. Notice how the people around you behave. These are things, again, just to take note of, begin to watch. I notice personally when the moon moves through Pisces, I have more vivid dreams. It happens really consistently. So the last 2 nights, I've had some super interesting ones. I expect to have more interesting dreams this evening. Just something I noticed personally. You may be different, but that's what I noticed. So at 2:55 a.m. this evening, tomorrow morning, Monday the 15th, the moon will move into Aries. Now, if you have planets or points in the signs that the moon's moving through, you may feel a personal activation as the moon moves through those signs. So if you have any planets or points in the first several degrees of Aries, you may feel some sort of activation tomorrow as the moon crosses this. I personally do. So the moon brings insights. It represents our intuition and our inner realm. So you can receive personal insights. For everybody, Aries, wherever it is in your chart, represents the self. It's the baby of the zodiac. It's the first sign of the zodiac. So as the moon moves through Aries, even if you don't have planets or points there, it can give you insights into how you feel about yourself at a primal level. Also tomorrow at 8:44 a.m., Mars, which is in Cancer, will be in a trine with Neptune in Pisces. Now, Neptune is the ruler of Pisces. It'll be at 27 degrees. It's never been at this degree point in our lifetime. So this is a new degree point for Neptune. Mars moves more quickly around the zodiac. So we've experienced Mars in Cancer. Mars doesn't really like it in Cancer, just saying, because it doesn't really have traction. It's a big ball of fire, right? The ruler of Aries in a water sign. So it can create a lot of steam. Also, Cancer rules our inner realm in terms of our primal feelings, how we felt about ourselves in childhood. Mars also represents how we take action and put energy into things. And Mars in Cancer is the crab that likes to move sideways and likes to just stay home. So if you felt like, I just don't want to get out there, I don't have the energy, that may be because you are feeling this Mars and Cancer energy. It's been moving through Cancer for a while, particularly if you're like me and an Aries ruled by Mars. So planets and points can be more exaggerated if your ruling planet, depending on what signs you have in your chart, are in an aspect with others. So Neptune's the ruler of Pisces. Pisces is two fish. One fish is swimming with the psychic. It's divine. It receives downloads, insights from dreams. It's vibing super high. The other fish is swimming along in illusion, delusion, addiction, checking out, just wanting, like fuzzy thinking, like just wanting to sleep. So Mars in a trines usually bring out the best of both signs. So in this trine tomorrow, you can have insights, the energy of Neptune and Pisces, about how to take action. That's one of the best aspects that can happen. If you're lower vibrational, if you have not been plugging in and you're checked out anyway, this can make you want to just check out and sleep. Because Neptune can dissolve things and take things away and just like, ugh. So if you're vibing high, if you've plugged in and done spiritual practices, if you've done your meditation, your prayer, your chanting, you've walked in the woods, you've grounded yourself, you could have some amazing insights and clarity about how to take action in certain ways in your life. If you're already checked out, you may feel like, I just want to sleep. I don't know, like I can't see. So I always advocate spiritual practices to raise your vibration and get the best out of your life, just on a daily basis. If you're plugging in and meditating, chanting, praying, raising your life condition, you'll have a better experience in your life than if you don't. I've noticed personally, the more that I chant, meditate, tap into the divine, there's a flow, there's a synchronicity, there's just a sign that I'm in rhythm. Whereas if my spiritual practice, if I don't have enough time putting into it, like I make sure every day without exception that I meditate and or chant. So, but if I have days where I'm not doing it as much, I notice that my life doesn't flow quite as well as days when I really dive in. So I just want to offer that up as my personal insights, and perhaps you may have found the same thing. All right, on Tuesday, the 16th at 12:20 p.m., Jupiter moves into Taurus. So to back up, that means today and tomorrow, Jupiter is at these last degree points of Aries. Right now, as I'm recording this, Jupiter is at 29 degrees and 35 minutes. So it's at this last degree point. The eclipse happened at 29 degrees and 55 minutes. Again, I said that Jupiter brings gifts. So if you set clear intentions with this new moon solar eclipse, you may find that you get a reward today, tomorrow. Like you get your intentions rewarded. You get proof from the universe that you are going to be getting what you want. Usually eclipse energies last for a good 6 months. So the intentions you set on a new moon often don't come back around for 6 months later. In this case, maybe even a couple of years later, because it was such a powerful eclipse on this anaretic degree point. But some of us may experience the benefits of setting powerful, clear causes with that solar eclipse new moon today, tomorrow. So that's just a little kiss that could be coming for some people. And then as Jupiter moves into Taurus, it shifts the energies. Jupiter takes 12 years to get around the zodiac signs. So it has been 12 years since Jupiter has been in Taurus. So what are Taurus themes? We've been really vibing a lot of Taurus energy. Of course, the sun's been moving through Taurus. We have Uranus in Taurus. We've had the North Node moving through Taurus since January of 2022. So we're learning all the lessons of Taurus, which rules the second house in the astrological wheel. So this is about how we feed ourselves, our food, how we take care of our physical body, our values, our valuables. Are we being valued by the people in our lives? It's how we make our money, how we store our money. It's ruled by Venus, which rules relationships of all kinds, women in particular, and also money and finances. So as Jupiter moves into Taurus, all these themes become exaggerated, especially because as it steps in, it's at 0 degree points. Now, 0 degree points, we've got Pluto at 0 degrees of Aquarius right now. 0 degree points, if you have 0 degree points in your chart anywhere, Planets are points at 0 degrees. Boundaries is one of the themes of 0 degree points. Setting boundaries, setting clear boundaries. Jupiter makes things bigger. So the need to set a clear boundary may be bigger, especially in these areas of Taurus, with relationships, with how you spend your money, with how you feed yourself, for example, right? It can bring benefits, right? It can bring in surprise money, surprise relationships, right? All the gifts that Taurus could have. Taurus is the artist, as I see it, one of the signs that indicates artistry and talent in the arts. And so Jupiter can bring creative insights as well as it moves into. So I feel like this is going to be a really lovely energy, and Taurus is grounded. So Jupiter moving into Taurus can really bring a big presence. But again, it makes things bigger. So you could also have the tendency to overindulge in food, since Taurus rules how you feed yourself. Overindulge in spending, so you want to watch out for those kind of things too. I feel like this is going to be a really lovely transit, and it's going to be, conjunct the North Node, which right now is at 3 degrees of Taurus. So, and it's starting to activate a square on Wednesday. At 8:10 p.m., Jupiter will be in an exact square with Pluto. But as it moves into Taurus, it's already in a square now at 29 degrees, because anything within 10 degrees is considered, in an aspect. But it'll be an exact square. Now, squares are contentious relationships. It's like coming to an intersection at the same time. Pluto, even though it's retrograde, will have the upper hand because it's the outermost planet, and it's the most potent and powerful. I talk a lot about Jupiter and Pluto. If you've been listening to my videos for any length of time, you've heard a lot about Pluto. So Pluto in Aquarius, in this new place in the skies, retrograde is a lot about turning inside. Pluto's about death and transformation, power and control. As it's going retrograde, it's really about empowering yourself, not giving your power over to anyone or anything outside of yourself. Jupiter moving into Taurus is about valuing yourself, but there's a square off, so it can be intensive, and they're both in fixed signs. The nodes are in fixed signs. The south node's in Scorpio, north node's in Taurus, Pluto in Aquarius. We have Jupiter in Taurus as of, just on the 16th. So it's starting this T-square going on. Mars at the end of the week will move into Leo, creating a grand fixed cross or a grand fixed square, same thing, which is going to be intensive. And I'll talk about that a little bit here. But we're already starting to feel the activation of that. And fixed signs don't like things to change. They want to know what the plan is. They're slow to move into things, usually more cautious and careful. Think about the people that you know that are Aquarians, Tauruses, Leos, Scorpios. They're all kind of guarded. Let me just check this out. I don't know. Let me feel this out. And it's a fixed sign, so they don't like things to change as much. They want to know what the plan is. They want to stick with the plan. Aquarius is a little bit different because it's the maverick. It wants to change up the plan. It doesn't want anybody else to tell them what the plan is. So we're entering into this really intensive T-square this week. And we may already feel it even now, even though it's not exact yet. So again, these planets or points are going to be Jupiter moving into Taurus, conjunct the North Node, the South Node in Scorpio, Pluto in Aquarius, and it'll be Mars going into Leo. That'll be this grand fixed structure. And it may feel like an elephant is sitting on your chest. If you have planets or points in these parts of the sky, you already know this. Your life has been about, feeling stuck, having it hard to shift or move things. And it's not a time to force things, really. It's a time to breathe deeply and often and turn things over and see what you need to see. Allow things to just happen when they're going to happen, right? Set clear intentions and notice that this is when the serenity prayer comes into play, right? Higher power, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. A whole lot of wisdom is needed this week. And the good news is that Jupiter is wisdom. It's one of the things that it represents. Jupiter's the guru, so it can bring insights and wisdom. So if you're tapping into your inner voice, you could know exactly what to do. And you also may feel super tired or just stuck. Again, if you're trying to force something right now, you're going to be like trying to like push an elephant up a hill. You probably won't get much done. Okay, on Wednesday, the 17th, the moon will move into Taurus at 7:27 a.m. So then it'll be crossing over, highlighting this square between Jupiter, because it'll cross over Jupiter, be conjunct Jupiter, and be squaring Pluto. So again, the moon is bringing insights. Intuition can be strong about how to value ourselves more, how to deal with these areas of our lives that we still need to transform. That's what Pluto is trying to do, excavating, trying to get us to look at something we need to deeply transform in our lives, getting us to empower ourselves. In Aquarius can be about the groups that we're connected to, doing things outside the box, doing things in a new way. These are new aspects that we have not experienced in this lifetime. So the 0-degree points can be holding the space for something brand new, something we've never experienced before. I'm getting goosies with that. So that would be a confirmation that we're entering into some like, ooh, it can be intensive, but it can be exciting. Like something can click into place that you can count on for all times. For example, a relationship could come in that somebody you could really lean on and really count on. Financial shifts can happen that can change your life forever. These are some examples, again, because of Jupiter being in Aquarius. Jupiter being in Taurus and Pluto being in Aquarius. Aquarius being how we vibe with other people, and the new and the different and the unique. Okay, so the exact square between Jupiter and Pluto happens on Wednesday the 17th at 8:10 p.m. Another thing that's interesting that happens on Sunday the 17th is that the sun will be conjunct the fixed star Algol. And I don't think I've ever talked about this, and I'm still learning about it myself. There's like so many things to learn in astrology, but this Algol, I wrote down some notes about it. It was the head of Medusa that was cut off. And so some people call this the devil's head, Satan's head. It's the most evil star in the heavens. One thing that I looked up wrote, it can be a negative, especially it seems to correspond with the beheading of leaders, people in leadership. Also, not just beheadings, but violence of all kinds, decapitations, specifically, misfortune, hangings, electrocution, mob violence. So it'll be interesting to see if any of those things transpire as the sun is conjunct Algol on Wednesday, the 17th. And again, we can experience even a day or before or after as the sun, which illuminates, goes over this fixed star in the skies. One of the things I thought was interesting, because I'll pull up Donald Trump's chart periodically to just look, because he's such an interesting character in history, if nothing else. And his midheaven, which is about the mission of life on this planet, is at 24 degrees of Taurus, and Algol was at 25 degrees in the sky when he was born. So I think that's interesting that this sort of head, that he's been the head, but he's also brought a lot of negative energy, of course, according to a lot of people, and that I'm curious to see if his life will end in some misfortune as a result of his midheaven being conjunct the fixed star Algol. I don't know. I'm not predicting anything. I just thought it was interesting as I was looking at his chart this week and looking at Algol in my own chart, and just what's going on, and the fact that the sun was going to be passing over that this week. So the sun illuminates. It'll be interesting to see if any leadership all over the world, if there's something that happens with sort of an evil leader on the planet. I see Putin in the same light. I haven't looked at Putin's chart to see where Algol is in his chart, not recently anyway. So anyway, I just wanted to throw that out there to see, and just say, it'll be interesting to sit and watch and see if any of these things, this most evil star in the heavens, when the sun goes over it, if something happens, or if you have planets or points around this this part of the skies yourself? Do you notice misfortune happening in certain areas depending on what sign or planet or point is conjunct this fixed star? Okay, Thursday, the 18th, the sun in Taurus will be sextiling Neptune in Pisces. Sextiles are positive aspects. So this is a lovely kiss between getting insight, Neptune, and illumination of values. And again, all the things that Taurus represents as well: love, relationships, money, finances. There can be a lovely coming together and receiving downloads, receiving insights, Neptune, with these things on Thursday, the 18th. On Friday, the 19th, we have a new moon in Taurus. And new moons are where the sun and the moon are together in the skies. This will happen at 10:53 a.m. at 28 degrees and 25 minutes of Taurus. So it's always lovely to set new intentions with every new moon. What do you want for the next lunation cycle, particularly in this Taurus realm? What do you want in the realm of your relationships, in the realm of finances? So there's that lovely thing happening. Earlier that morning at 1:39 a.m., Mercury in Taurus, which is now going to be direct, will sextile Saturn in Pisces. So this can give you insights and thoughts. This is a positive connection. I see Saturn as how we structure things, how we set up boundaries so we can have some clear, again, this may come in your dreams because it's happening in the middle of the night. We can feel it beforehand on Thursday. We can feel it throughout the day on Friday. But insights, clarity, conversations where you may be setting boundaries in a positive way for yourself, for your life. At 1:47 p.m., the moon will move into Gemini. On Saturday, the 20th, at 10:31 a.m., Mars will move into Leo, activating this fixed Grand Cross, this fixed square. So this is where the fixed T-square that I was talking about becomes exact. And at that point, all the planets will be in feminine signs, the feminine signs being water signs and earth signs, with the exception of Pluto and Chiron. So that's an interesting energy too in the air, where everyone is in this lovely feminine energy. Then on Sunday, the 21st, the sun moves into Gemini at 2:09 a.m., starting a whole new track through that sign. And I'll dive into more about what Gemini represents next week. We'll also have the sun in a trine with Pluto right after it switches signs at 8:59 a.m., illuminating transformation and change and personal empowerment. And then at 10:28 p.m. that night, the moon moves into Cancer. That is the transits for the week ahead. I hope you have a great week.